When you were a kid and you were playing games on your NES or your SNES or your Genesis or whatever you had, when you were playing those games, would you ever in your head imagine more to it than there actually was? Like, as opposed to just looking at the screen and going, okay, that's a pixel, did you completely immerse yourself in that world?
I can't say that I did, no.
This is duck season. Hi guys, this is Moriarty.
And I'm Crypto Spook.
The entire concept of this game is playing a game and really getting into the world of that game. So as soon as you stick your game into your console, you are actually transported into the character that you're playing in the game. This is an interesting title. It only takes about an hour to beat, and the entire idea of it is that you are playing Duck Hunt, and you are inside of Duck Hunt, though it is called Duck Season in this particular world. When you begin to play the game, you are pulled into the world and you are the hunter. And the mechanics of the game revolve around reloading your shotgun and shooting ducks. That's most of the game.
With your giant animatronic dog that's pretty creepy looking.
The dog is the creepy part, and there is a story about this dog. And it is not scary, though there are definitely moments of serious fear that this game will create for you.
That's pretty surprising that a game could inspire fear in you. In what way did it do that?
I don't want to spoil it because this is a game that's all about the story. The gameplay itself of shooting ducks, well, that gets old pretty quick. And quite frankly, since you have 8 or 9 days that you have to go through, and each one consists of 3 rounds of 10 ducks, you're gonna shoot a lot of ducks.
And it seems like they're pretty static patterns, too.
It follows the traditional duck hunt pattern. It is duck hunt. There's no difference here. However, there are 9 different endings that are known for this game so far. And each one requires that you play the game slightly differently. You do different things in it. And that's really where the magic of Duck Season comes in. Yes, you can go through the standard canon ending game pretty quickly. You can go through it and get through the whole game in about an hour, and you can experience the primary story. But it is when you begin to experiment with things, when you begin to pick up books and put other games into the console, that you start to really open up this game.
So now, speaking of putting other games in the console, I really hope that you have to manually change the TV to channel 3 or 4 and then turn one of those little cable TV little mini switches like they used to have. It'd be great if they simulated that. Let these kids realize what it was like back in the day.
It's not quite on that level, though you can put in VHS tapes and watch them if you want, and you can switch out games, and you can play with different toys that are in the world that you're in, and you can pick up magazines and read them. So in between every mission, you go back to your house. You are shown a commercial, and something has changed around you, like it would if a kid was in the living room playing with toys and playing on his console and watching movies and having magazines and stuff like that. So things change, things move. You can see where all the inspiration for the imaginary world that he's in is coming from, like the toy truck that's in the corner.
I am just really impressed by the level of detail they put into this game.
This is one of the most fully fleshed out wave-based shooter games I've ever seen. Really, that's what this is a wave-based shooter, because, whatever, but you can't die. It's a very simple wave-based shooter, and that's not the exciting part of this game.
Really? So it's the story that they're telling?
No, it's not even the individual story, because one story only takes an hour to get through, and it's not particularly inspiring. It's interesting enough, but it's not incredible. What is incredible is the 9 different stories that you can go through and how incredibly vastly different they are. Whether it be being murdered by a dog or watching a helicopter fly over your house and then machine gun a dog outside. There's a lot of incredible stuff in this game, and it's all about you playing around. Now, this is made by a YouTuber. It is made by the guy who co-founded Freddy W, which is a channel that does skits and stuff. His name is Brandon, and I actually met him and spoke with him about this game at VidCon this year, and this is his take on a perfect VR game. Something that has a lot of replayability, an easy to understand mechanic, has the nostalgia and has the understanding, the simple mechanics that you need for anyone to be able to pick it up. But it has enough depth in it that you can really get in there and find new stuff and spend 10 hours for your $20.
That's a pretty long playtime. This is a 10-hour game if you go through all the different endings?
I think you could probably cut it down a few hours, but yeah, it's a long game. And most of that length comes from the fact that you have to go in and do 3 rounds of 10 ducks in between every day, or every hour, or whatever it is, every period.
That is a lot of ducks to kill.
It's a long amount of time, but it's very, very interesting once you're out of the duck stuff. The duck stuff is okay, but it's not incredible.
I would argue that the graphics in the ducks, in the actual duck shooting portion, actually look really good. Like, I think it translates very well to even looking like a 2D game.
The graphics are very pretty in all parts of it. The duck shooting part is pretty. The in your home part is pretty. Everything's very, very pretty. They really did realize being in a game, in a television, more than anything else I've ever seen.
Oh man, that's straight up trippy.
That's the thing. This game is really, really neat. And it takes a whole different approach to basically everything that we've seen with these type of games in the past. It's really well done. I'm a huge fan of everything that Stress Level Zero has done here. They're the same developers who made Hover Junkers, so they've been around for a long time. They've got a lot of interesting experiences there because, again, they have people who have been working in graphic effects part of YouTube for years and years and years. They've got VR pioneers with the people building Hover Junkers. They've got all of the stuff there to really put together something unique and interesting, and I think they really managed to do it. This is probably the only game that I can safely say you should pick up and you should play it multiple times and go through a whole bunch of the different endings. I think that you should spend that time and enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and it's incredibly fun. It's super neat. I love this game.
So it seems like the developer might have watched our Dear VR Developers video.
I highly doubt that he did, but it's possible.
I see a lot of elements here of things that we talked about that we wanted to see more of, like changing the perspective, changing scale, making it so that it really is a VR world. It doesn't have to be any set thing. This is certainly beyond any type of genre I've seen. I mean, it's a wave shooter, but at the same time, it's a simulation within a simulation.
And it's a horror game.
And it's a horror game.
And if you start going into all of the other stuff that you can do, there's so much here. There's so very much here. And it's hard to easily say that it is X, Y, or Z. I think this is a fantastic game. It's well worth the price. It is well worth your time. And I think you should absolutely pick this up.
I would pick this up. It seems like at $20, with 10 hours of replayability, all the different endings, the graphics that I see in it, the stories that they're trying to tell, it just seems like a worthwhile game.
This is also a perfect game to give to somebody who has limited experience in VR, but wants to play something really good. Because it is really good. There's a couple of problems I had that I felt like didn't need to be there. For example, in order to start the next level, you have to shoot the OK thing, but it means that you end up shooting repeatedly, and I kind of want a break. I want a button to press. I want something, because I tell you what, after a while, cocking this shotgun, shooting, reloading, cocking, shooting, reloading, cocking, shooting, reloading, it gets old and it gets tiring. I actually tried to fail a mission so that I could see if I could just skip through to the next day and get to the next part of the story, because I got tired of shooting these stupid ducks. It doesn't change and it doesn't get any better. It just kind of stays the same. I would really like to see just a few points of convenience to the user. after the round, it says great, and you have to shoot that. And then it says next round coming up, and you have to shoot that. Then you have to shoot and shoot and shoot. And it just gets too much. I want a button. I want something that gives me a break now and then because I'm already shooting too many freaking ducks. You're adding in a bunch of extra unnecessary shooty, and it gets too much. So, like, that part of the game wasn't great to me. The duck shooting part is the least fun part of this game.
That's a pretty interesting thing to say with a game called Duck Season, but I do understand exactly what you mean. I feel like I would get very frustrated continually shooting these things, and the reload looks like it's very rushed, so you've been forced to shoot this continue button, and now it's like, now you gotta reload so you can shoot these ducks.
It's an incredibly in-depth game. It's an incredibly unique game. It has a lot to it. I highly recommend that you do not play this game and just shoot ducks. You need to spend some time picking things up, moving things around, touching things left and right. You gotta play around so that you can really experience this world. Try combining items. Touch things together. You might be surprised at what happens when you do. There you go, guys. That's Duck Season. It's fantastic. You should play it. You should play it today. It's one of the best VR games that we've ever seen. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. But if you did like it, why don't you check out another video up there in the corner, and as always,
we'll see you on the next one.